Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to see about double tube heat exchanger. Last video, we have discussed about shell and tube heat exchanger. Uh, do check out that as well. Link is in my description. So let us come to a double tube heat exchanger. It is a simple and compact type of a heat exchanger used for efficient heat transfer of heat between a two fluid. So basically it is consists of two concentric pipes or tube, one nested inside the other. This inner pipe carries a fluid and the outer pipe carries another fluid which transfer the heat or cool. So basically it is a simple and compact design which is more efficient for a heat transfer between the two fluids, and it has a concentric pipes or tube which one nested in another. So each pipe carries a different fluid which helps to transfer heat or cool. As we discussed about what's meant by a double tube heat exchanger, it is also called as inner tire tube in tube heat exchanger as well. So bottom we have an image of a double tube heat exchanger. We have a fluid inlet and fluid outlet, which we can say about a tube. We have a shell tube which has a fluid inlet and outlet as well. Let us discuss about working of a double tube heat exchanger. A double tube heat exchanger consists of two concentric tubes where one fluid flows through the inner tube and the other fluid flows through the angular space between the inner and the outer tube. So the angular space is nothing but a shape of ring which covers outer of a substance. Next, heat is exchanged through the tube valves. Flow configuration: the hot or cold fluid enters the inner tube while the other fluid flows in the angular space, which we called as shell side or outer tube. So as we said, we have a different fluid which is hot or cold. For example, we take in a hot fluid enters in the inner tube, and we have a cold fluid which enters in the shell side or outer tube. So next, the heat transfer. Heat is transferred through the tube valve, allowing the exchange of thermal energy between the two fluid. So when the two fluid flows in a double tube heat exchanger, which exchange the thermal energy of fluids between the two fluids. And we have both the counterflow and parallel flow. The fluid can flow in a counterflow or parallel flow arrangement, influencing the overall efficiency of a heat transfer. So we have both the counterflow and parallel flow acting in a heat exchanger, which gives the overall efficiency of a heat transfer. Let us look at the pictures of double tube heat exchanger. Picture 1, which we seen in the last slide. We have a fluid 1 inlet in the down, and we have a fluid 2 inlet at the top, and we have a fluid 1 outlet at the top, and we have a fluid 2 outlet at the bottom, and we have a shell which we called as a shell side inlet, and which covers the inner tube. And the picture 2, we seeing the both parallel flow and the counterflow in the double tube heat exchanger. Fluid 1, we have a cold fluid which entering in the bottom. Fluid 2, we have a hot fluid which entering at the top. Both react to each other and transfer a heat of two fluids. From a fluid 1 outlet we got a warm temperature, and a fluid 2 outlet we got a cold temperature. If we look at the bend, which looks like a hairpin bend in a double tube heat exchanger, where bend is utilized for a heat transfer of two other fluids. Let us look at the application of a double tube heat exchanger. So commonly used in a residential water heater to transfer heat from the hot fluid, such as a heating coil, to the water. So basically it is used in a residential area for a water heater, which turns a cold fluid to a hot fluid or a water. And next, it is suitable for a smaller scale application like laboratory setups or a process with a moderate heat transfer requirement. So basically it is suitable for a smaller scale because of a compact design, easy maintenance. Let us look at the advantages of double tube heat exchanger. The design is straightforward, make it easy to manufacture and maintenance. So simple design make it easy for manufacturing and maintenance as well. And the tubes are easily accessible, faculty cleaning and maintenance. So the tubes are easily removable and which is more simple for cleaning and maintenance. Next, it is suitable for application where space is limited due to its compact design. So as we discussed in application, it is suitable for a small scale industries. So it has a limited space limiter and a compact design. And last, generally more cost effective than some other types of heat exchanger. So due to the simple design, it has a less cost when you compare to some other heat exchanger types. Let us look at the disadvantages of a double tube heat exchanger. The compact design may limit the available heat transfer surface, potentially reducing the overall efficiency. Due to the compact design, it also limits the heat transfer as well. So, if a large surface which will give a good efficiency of a heat transfer, but in a less surface area which gives a limited heat transfer. For an example, if you take a shell and tube heat exchanger which covers a more area and it gives the efficiency of a heat transfer. But if in case of a double tube heat exchanger, it has a limited space and it also gives a limited efficiency of heat transfer and are best suited for a smaller scale applications. Larger heat transfer requirement might be a better addressed with the other types of heat exchanger. So it's a good choice of a smaller scale application. But in case of larger heat transfer, we need to look for other types of heat exchanger like a shell and tube heat exchanger and a plate heat exchanger. The temperature profile of a tube fluid must be compatible for efficient heat transfer, and a certain application may not be suitable for a double pipe heat exchanger. It's due to the limited heat transfer, so it gives a limited temperature of two fluids. For efficiency of heat transfer, we need to look for other types of heat exchanger. Double tube heat exchanger is not suitable for high efficiency of heat transfer, and it is also not applicable for certain spaces or applications. And the final summary of a double tube heat exchanger are simple, cost effective, and easy to maintain. They are most suitable for a small scale application with a moderate heat transfer requirements. The choice of a heat exchanger they should be aligned with the specific needs of application, considering a factors such as size, efficiency, and the nature of a fluid involved. So nothing but before choosing the heat exchanger, we need to be consider the application and advantages and the limitation of the heat exchanger. And that's all about double tube heat exchanger. I was posting a regular content related to the industrial process, and last video I posted related to the shell and tube heat exchanger. Do check out my channel, and thanks for watching.